I've only ever been to one wedding. It was when I was very young, so of what I remember, take with a pinch of salt. It was my mother's youngest cousin getting married, and it was one of those multi-day wedding events. When we arrived at the estate where the festivities were taking place, I remember being shuffled off with my mother for days of various fittings and rehearsals as me and 4 other little girls were to be flower maids. It seemed very unfair as I was being prodded with tailoring pins and told I wasn't walking correctly. My older brothers had been set up as ushers and largely spent the days passing around a flask and taking various bets with the other lads to pass time. The night before the ceremony, I got up in the late night hours needing some water, but being so young and in such a new place, I got lost and found myself wandering the servants' corridors. Peeking through keyholes and cracks, I saw parts of the wedding festivities that had not been listed on the itinerary. In one room, I saw my brothers drinking and snorting powders, the twins bare-knuckle fighting each other while my eldest brother reminded them, no face shots, it's still a special occasion." 3 doors down, servants were working tirelessly on dress alterations. As they worked, they whispered about how they suspected they wouldn't be seeing that lady's maid with the blonde hair sneaking out of the bride's room in the wee morning hours anymore. A strange remark, I thought at the time, until I happened upon the blonde lady's maid's room at the end of the hall. She was there, holding the bride, attempting to comfort her while she herself was softly crying, and the bride wept in her arms. This was more than just a maid comforting her lady. These were 2 people deeply in love. Knowing tonight would be farewell, around the corner through a closet peephole, I found the groom, let's say otherwise engaged with one of the pastry chefs. I decided after that I didn't really need the water and managed to find my way back to my room. For the rest of the night I stared at my ceiling thinking about the bride and her maid. If she loved this girl, and the groom clearly felt no strong loyalties, why were either of them doing this? In the morning as we got ready, I listened more closely to the other women to get some answer. From what I gathered, the groom was a bit of a playboy, and his family had hoped that by settling down, he would settle down. The bride's family was concerned that she would never marry, and the groom came from good enough stock that it seemed like a worthwhile match. And there I had my answer. Why were they doing this? Because it made transactional sense among their families. The whole event felt like a sham from there on out. As the wedding began and I tossed my little flower petals, I hoped for some great moment of objection, but it never happened. The 2 said their vows, made their gestures, and with a kiss the deal was made. That was the last wedding I went to. If I want to see a mass-scale public transaction take place, I find the dog shows far more enjoyable.